Hi, thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. Realizing that my mindset has changed dramatically from, childhood through growing up, through becoming an adult, and leading to now, looking back and kind of understanding my mindset in past years, seeing the progression of thought that has led me to my opinions and my beliefs and my understanding of things now, it's very helpful. So recently I have been digging kind of into my memory, I guess. Through my walk down memory lane, I stumbled upon, I guess we could call it, the mental file of absolutely horrible and absurd things I used to believe. These are in reference to, of course, eating and food and just my really bad understanding of nutrition and health and fitness and all of that. So today I thought it would be fun to go over 10 absolutely absurd and crazy lies I used to tell myself. These are some things that I truly believed were facts. I believed probably earlier than the age of 15, but I would say I believed them very strongly starting around like 14, 15. And some of these I continued to believe up until as recent as maybe 8, 9 months to a year ago. So these are things that even though the truth was in my face and I was reading the truth and I was educating myself, I still had in the back of my mind some of these really absurd, stupid things. Some of these are probably a little cliche, a little expected of someone who struggles with eating disorders and body image and all of that. I think a lot of people who struggle with eating disorders have probably thought one or all of these at some point. These are 10 that I could think of right now. I know there were more. I had a record in my brain playing on repeat these kind of things to just reinforce my poor relationship with food and my poor relationship with myself. These are not in any particular order, but number one is probably the most absurd lie that I probably told myself 1,000 times a day, maybe more. And it really enforced my anorexia. So number one, you always need to be losing weight. In my mind, as long as the number was always going down, you were healthy. Like losing weight was a healthy thing to do. And it is for some people, not for someone who was already at a low body weight. But in my mind, you need to always be losing weight. A thought would pop in my head. What happens when you reach 0? I think at some point when I was completely delusional, that sounded like a good thing. If I reached 0 pounds, obviously I'd be dead way before I even get close to 0 pounds. Part of me was like, but you can always lose more. Like that's how sick my brain was. This is just proof that nourishment feeds your brain to think properly. Basically, you always need to be losing weight. That is the mark of, health. And you can never be too thin. When I was completely brainwashed by my anorexia, I never once viewed a pro-ana site. Things like this, thinking that you can never be too thin, that is in essence pro-ana sites. And I had that in my brain without reading it anywhere. No one said it in those terms, but that's written out on pro-ana sites. So I basically had a pro-ana site bookmarked in my brain, playing over and over again. So that's the number one crazy thing that I tried to justify in my brain that it made sense. And it really does not make sense. There's no logic. Number two, 0 calories is best, and it is of course the goal. In my mind, 0 was the best number ever. If I could go a whole day consuming 0 calories, that is perfect. You get bored with 0 calorie foods like water flavoring, and coffee and tea. You kind of need more than that. You set the goal of trying to stay as close to 0 as possible. You're good or you're not good if you can't stick to that goal. That is just absurd. In diet culture, I feel like they don't straight up say 0 calories is good. They obviously are like, you need to eat, but you don't eat that much. Here's 1,200 calories for a grown-ass adult woman. That's plenty. No, that's like a child. I think that this idea of 0 calories is best stems from the fear of calories that is definitely spewed all over the place constantly. Number 3, I had this irrational fear of water. It was non-essential. It was not necessary. The only time water truly was necessary is if you were working out. And other than that, it really shouldn't be consumed because it might have trace calories. I was really sick. Number 4, only skinny people are acceptable at the gym. This stems from like the fear of being seen. It's better to hide, isolate, stay away from people. But of course you have this drive to work out. You want to go to the gym, but you can't go to the gym until you look like you belong in the gym. And I think a lot of people still struggle with this idea. It's like, no, the gym is made for people of any shape, size, age, whatever. Everyone's welcome at a gym. You don't have to look a certain way in order to like get in. Of course, I was like, I gotta get skinny to go to the gym, to get skinnier. Makes no sense. So number 5 is one of those things that I believed for much of my life. It was only until like maybe a year, maybe 8 months ago that I started to like break down this lie and be like, it's not true. It's not true. You know it's not true. Science proves that it's not true. Believe that it is not true. And that is fat makes you fat. It's total bullshit. I'm sorry, but it is. The fat you eat is the fat you wear. That is so damaging to say that. Eating fat does not automatically put fat on your body. That's not how it works. And they fail to mention that when they say things like the fat you eat is the fat you wear. The truth is, the fat you eat does become the fat you wear when you overeat, when you overdo it on fat, when the highest consumed macro is fat. But that's also true if the highest consumed macro is carbs and you overeat on carbs, you're gonna gain weight. I feel like a lot of people think that if you gain weight, that means you're getting fat. Fat weighs differently than muscle and all of that. They fail to mention a lot of other facts when they're talking about fat. I still to this day really do struggle with eating like high fat foods because of this lie that I've believed for so long, and it is, I don't want to say forever ingrained in my mind, but it kind of is forever ingrained in my mind as something that I used to believe wholeheartedly. It takes a lot of effort to stop myself within that thought process and say, no, the facts say differently. Science, true science, like scientifically proven studies have shown differently, and there's nothing to worry about. Number 6, carbs make you fat. Carbs can only make you fat if you are overeating on carbs, but that's the case for anything, carbs, fat, protein, all of it. If you overeat, you will gain weight. Will it make you fat? No. There's a difference between gaining weight and becoming fat. Okay. Years ago, in my mind, everything made you fat. Like I said, water was off limits to me because I was afraid it would make me fat. And it's water. This just shows how mind-consuming an eating disorder can be. Number 7, skinny girls don't eat. Even though I witnessed all the skinny girls in my school eating. But in my mind, they didn't. That's a little weird. Number 8, work out every day, and if you don't, you're gonna be fat. Like, I truly believed that if I didn't follow my rituals and routine exactly the same every single day, I was gonna magically wake up the next day and I was gonna be 200 and some pounds. It's so sickening to think that I used to think like that. And it sickens me even more when I realize that I still sometimes think that way. And it's crazy. It's crazy talk. Number 9, thinness equals attractiveness. And if you're not attractive, then you are fat and ugly. Because I wasn't thin in my mind, that meant that I was fat and ugly. It has taken me more than my life than not, if that makes sense, to get to a point where I'm like, I'm not ugly. I still sometimes think I'm really ugly. It's embarrassing because I know I'm not ugly, but I question it. I question my ability to view myself properly because I do struggle with body image dysmorphia. And so it's really hard for me to see myself the way people say I am. It's really hard for me to think of myself as attractive, even though I freaking know I am. It's really weird to know something and at the exact same time doubt it. Number 10 is very similar to number 9. Being thin equals being attractive, and if you are attractive, you are lovable. And that is where your worth comes from, because people think you're valuable because you're lovable and you're pretty and people like you. In my mind, no one loved me. I didn't love me, so no one else could love me. If no one else could love me, that means that I'm unattractive. And if I'm unattractive, I'm fat and ugly. And that is how the cycle continues. These are 1000% lies. There is no truth to any of them. But somehow, someone as intelligent as myself believed them. Even me, who was so set on never having an eating disorder, had an eating disorder. I couldn't fathom having an eating disorder, even though at that time I definitely had an eating disorder. And then it progressed and it got worse and worse and worse. And my mind was opened to these lies that infiltrated my intelligence. It made me doubt my intelligence. I thought I was stupid. I was an idiot. If I couldn't figure out how to get out of this eating disorder, then I'm dumb, I'm useless, I'm worthless. That was all the eating disorder feeding me the shit that just took over my life. Now I know I'm smart. I know I'm intelligent. I know I'm capable. I'm a very independent person. I am very strong-willed. I'm stubborn. I'm cocky as shit. I know I'm attractive. I know I'm good looking. I know I'm pretty. I know I work hard. I know I'm loyal. I know I'm all these things, but I have believed such horrible lies about myself for so long that I still doubt what I know to be true about myself. So, why is it so important to understand the lies of your past? It's so you can understand the truth of your present. That is where I'm going to end this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you did not enjoy it, you can give it a thumbs down. That is cool too. I don't mind. If you are not subscribed already, maybe consider subscribing and be sure to hit the bell notification so you are notified of all my future uploads. And thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed thus far. I really do appreciate it, so thank you so much. If you have any video suggestions, comments, questions, anything at all, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye!